Hey guys, welcome back to some gaming news, and today we're going to be talking about one of the games that really grew my channel when it first came out. We're talking about Way of the Hunter. So it's so funny to think that this channel started on Call of the Wild and Farming Simulator, and now mostly we do like buses and trucks and flight sims and stuff like that. I'm going to do a separate video on that about the channel coming up here, because there's some things I want to discuss and I want to ask you guys. But this video is all about Way of the Hunter. So we got some news earlier this week. Well, you know what? Let me just show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so it says get ready for the next hunting adventure, and it was confirmed in their Discord that they are indeed working on a new game. Now, according to them, that doesn't mean the end of Way of the Hunter right away. From what I understand, from what the developers said in the Discord, they're going to finish out the plans that they had for Way of the Hunter. So we're going to be getting new animals, a new free map coming out this year, and more like fixes and stuff like that. So they're not necessarily ending Way of the Hunter just yet. In this game, I have no idea, you know, how long it's going to be until this game comes out. Now this new game, there's no name for it yet. They don't have a name for it, so it's not like, you know, this is Way of the Hunter 2 or anything like that. Although it could be. I have no idea. But this game is on Unreal Engine 5, whereas Way of the Hunter was on Unreal Engine 4. Now a lot of people said, why don't you just update the engine for Way of the Hunter? I mean, I can understand that. Other games have done it. Fernbus is the one off the top of my head that they upgraded while the game was already out. But I have a different opinion on this, where some people are finding this as a negative. I don't. I'm finding it as a positive, because I feel like Way of the Hunter is kind of, I don't want to say dead, but it's dead. I mean, if you look at the players, it's not good, man. It's not good. Call of the Wild still has a huge number of players still playing the game. The last time I checked, Classic has more people playing that game than Way of the Hunter, and Way of the Hunter should be at least up there, I would say, in between Classic and Call of the Wild. And it's just not. And I really feel like it's because the developers, I don't want to say lost their way, because I don't know what their way was. But when the game first came out and the updates that we were getting, everything seemed to be on track for them, listening to the community and making a hunting game that the community wanted, which a lot of people felt that Way of the Hunter was going to be kind of like the console version of Classic, and maybe like a more modern version of Classic, the way it was going. I mean, they started putting some really cool things in there, and then all of a sudden, they just veered off in the opposite direction and started doing things strange, like putting in a DLC of just clothes. You know, I don't know what was going on, but Way of the Hunter had the makings of being such a great game. And then at some point, they just went completely off the course. And I think that there was a lot of what the community wanted, and the community's vision of the game versus the devs' vision of the game. And I just don't think it lined up. And we're at the point now where, yes, I understand people are saying, why can't you just update Way of the Hunter? Way of the Hunter isn't that old. There's still so much content you can put in Way of the Hunter, and I do agree with that. However, I do feel Way of the Hunter is kind of at a point now where it would be hard to get the hype back up, and I think they lost so many players. I think it would be hard to get them back just by updating the game. So I do believe that having a new title is a good way to go. I think it's a good way to bring maybe some of the players from Way of the Hunter back. I think it's a good way to bring in new players. I'm just really hoping that they listen to the community and they've made this game different than Way of the Hunter. So let's talk about some things I'd like to see come out of this game. For one, the content, right? We have to have more content. It's a hunting game. I mean, if you look at games like Call of the Wild and Classic, the content in those games, it's unbelievable. It can be overwhelming, but it's a hunting game. It has to have all of those elements, and Way of the Hunter just kept trailing off. They kept putting in reserves that had the same animals that we already had. You know, they put in a lot of new weapons, a lot of rifles and bows and stuff like that, but I just feel like it misses the mark. I mean, having all of those weapons in the game without having anything exciting to hunt, it just defeats the purpose, right? So what we need is a random rack generator in a new game, first and foremost. That is the most important thing. We have to have animals that are unique. We have to have animals that, you know, we want to go in and we want to keep hunting even past the story. Even once we get our 5 stars, we want to see what the next 5-star looks like. We want to see differences in the 5 stars. You know, I mean, if I get a 5-star whitetail, that's pretty much it. There's just no point in getting another 5-star whitetail. There needs to be differences. There needs to be so many more rares in the game. Like, it always blew my mind to think that, oh, okay, whitetail are just albino, blacktail are just melanistic. This species is just this. Why? I mean, you've seen what Call of the Wild and Classic does. You've seen the success that they have. Why wouldn't you try to emulate the good things in that game, right? And then bring that into your game with the good things that this game has. Because this game has a lot of good things. Like, animal behavior is pretty good. I like it. You know, obviously it can be tweaked, it could be better, but it's good. The animations are really good. I mean, we have whitetails that flag, for crying out loud. I mean, Call of the Wild still can't do that for whatever reason. So I mean, the animations and stuff I really liked. The locations, they look pretty good for Unreal Engine 4. I mean, it is what it is, but Unreal Engine 5 is probably going to blow the graphics away. What we seen in that trailer, I gotta say, didn't impress me. But I will say this: when Way of the Hunter released their trailers and their teaser trailers and stuff, that didn't impress me either. When I actually got the game and I seen like 5-star animals and started actually exploring the map, then it impressed me more. So, you know, I think it's probably going to be that type of thing where they like to hold back a little bit. They don't want to show everything. So we just need to have better. The story missions, I don't necessarily mind the story missions. I would still like to be able to create my own character so we all have a unique look. For the love of God, do something about the multiplayer. The multiplayer in Way of the Hunter was horrible. It's still horrible. It's better. It's better than it was, but it's nowhere near where multiplayer should be. Hopefully on UE5, we'll have more people to hunt. I mean, we should at least be able to have 8 people hunting. Right now, I think on console, it's 3 or 4 online. It's crazy. We should be able to have more than that. I mean, I could literally make this video an hour long talking about the things that I would like to see in a video game, in a hunting video game. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what any of us think. The game's already being developed. Hopefully they have taken the advice and, you know, all the comments and all the criticism of the past game, and hopefully they've taken all that, put it into consideration, and I'm really hoping that they've added that to this game. There are some things with Way of the Hunter that we were promised that we never got, right? Like random wrecks. I think we were promised that. I think they said that was something that was supposed to come to the game, never made it. unique animals. And I actually said this to the devs in the Discord. I asked them straight out. I said, are unique animals different than rares and like the in-game story animals, or are you including rares and the story animals in that unique? Because that was on the roadmap. And they said, no. They said unique animals will be something separate. We never got that. We got unique animals in like story missions, tied to story missions, which is fine. I'm cool with that. But I would love to see unique animals just randomly pop up in the game. You know what I mean? Maybe deer with a broken antler or something, or, you know, wolves that, you know, a wolf that's like really old and looks all scarred up and gnarled. You know what I mean? I would love to see stuff like that. But they do have a dev blog. It doesn't really tell much. It's just basically saying that they're upgrading to Unreal Engine 5 and they can do a lot more with Unreal Engine 5 that they could with UE4. And the Unreal Engine 4 really held them back. But I'm pretty sure they had the game probably done before the whole UE5 stuff came out. So it is what it is. For you guys that like the hunting games, please leave in the comments, you know, what do you think about it? Are you excited about it? You know, are you in the camp that you would rather them just continue to work on Way of the Hunter? And if you are excited about it, what are the things you want to see in this game that we didn't have in that game? And obviously, animal species, I get. There's a ton of animal species that Way of the Hunter is missing. So if you would please narrow it down to like mechanics or like gear or, you know, game features. Stuff like that, I would appreciate that, because like there's, you know, a ton of species that Way of the Hunter didn't have that we could sit there and say we want in the game, but that's not going to make the new game, you know, an instant hit. We need some things like game features and mechanics and stuff like that that Way of the Hunter didn't have. All right, guys, so that's all we have for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.